Oh, ho, ho, it's a big boy. Welcome to another toy review. Few and far between nowadays because, this economy and performing arts, the industry I work in, getting royally screwed over. So it's very rare that I pick up a new toy, but I did manage to treat myself this week with something that, this has been on my Amazon wishlist for a while. And a couple of months ago, someone purchased this for me. And then on the same day, someone purchased a video game for me. Lovely Emma got me Dead by Daylight. And after a week, Dead by Daylight hadn't arrived. So I got in touch with Emma and I said, "Hi, can you just check the status?" Apparently it was dispatched, but it had been saying that for several days. So I requested that Emma get a refund. Because obviously there'd been some kind of cock-up. This was sort of about a month after the initial UK lockdown had finished. And she got a refund. And then we reordered it. I put it back on my wish list, and she reordered it that same day, and it arrived the next day. Now, the first day that she tried to order it, someone had ordered this for me because it disappeared off my wish list. Whoever that person is, it never arrived. I bought this for myself 3 days ago, and it arrived yesterday. If you bought me this on my wish list, because I've put this message out on Instagram and Twitter and said it on Twitch a lot, but I've never had a response. If you bought me this Spider-Man off my wish list as a gift, it didn't arrive, please make sure that you get a refund. Please, please, please. Because, that's 30 odd quid you spent on me that didn't come to me because somewhere at Amazon they cocked it up. So, if you can possibly... if you can possibly get a refund if you see this, because I'm assuming the only audience who haven't got that message, possibly on my YouTube audience who may have bought me a gift from the comment section link to my Amazon wishlist, the description link rather. If it is you, get your refund ASAP, please. You're past the date where you can get it, but if you write a thing saying it never arrived with the customer, then we can hopefully make this work. And if you need my help, let me know. Get in touch with me here on YouTube in the comments. Right. Marvel Select Spider-Man, based on the PS4 game from 2018. This figure was released in 2019. And the reason I wanted this is because I love that game. I love it so much. As I record this, we are a week out from Miles Morales coming out on the PS4, PS5, and Xbox systems and Steam. I'm buying the PS4 version because I can't afford a PS5 right now. So I'm buying the PS4 version, which will get a free upgrade to PS5 when we get a PS5. So I'm looking forward to playing it. But this has been a game I have loved playing. I've played through it 3 times. Once normally, once on New Game Plus, and then once again on normal mode for streams. And I adore it. I love the writing, I love the performances. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I've wanted a Spider-Man figure based on the game and the white spider suit for the longest time, but I've never found one that wasn't stupidly expensive or hiked up by scalpers. The Marvel Legends one they released briefly, it is expensive now. People snatched it up like crazy and sell it for a lot of money. But something that it has in common with a few of the more expensive versions is that none of them really look like him. They all have either too dark or defined lines on the webbing or the suit, or the eyes are the wrong size, or various other things. And a lot of them seem to miss the softer colour palette. Because the way the character's animated in the game, it's got a very light colour palette. These other versions seem to kind of ignore that. They either go bolder or give him darker outlines, which just looks strange. The Marvel Select one, which of course in the 7-inch scale, so it won't be compatible with your comic book Marvel Legends figures, but it will be with other Marvel Select, or like this bad boy is going to go downstairs on our game shelf as a one-off unique display piece of its own. He looks pretty spot on. So let's get him open. Let's peep his accessories. Let's question why Marvel Select have stuck to this box structure when it's a waste of so much plastic. Let's take a look at the 2018 PlayStation 4 Spider-Man. So here he is, the Marvel Select PS4 2018 Marvel Spider-Man Advanced Suit Spider-Man, aka the White Spider. Pretty gorgeous looking figure from the off. But we do have... Oh, we've started as balance. We do have some issues, and we will get into them in a moment's time. But first, let's have a look at his accessories. Spider-Man comes with 4 sets of hands. The closed fist hands that he's currently got there, that were in the figure on opening. He has some loose gripping hands for any webbing accessories you may already own, and his cell phone, which when placed into a grippy hand, looks a little something like, if it'll behave, this. He's clutching at his phone, checking his phone. The phone itself is alright. There's some paint bleed on the top. It looks like all Peter seems to monitor is the stock market based on that. Or he's doing some stuff for Octavius's lab, maybe, but it's a very odd display. A generic phone piece, as can be expected with a lot of phone pieces. No distinguishing features to make them look like any certain brands. The next spare pair of hands he comes with are the web shooting hands. Because of course, like every Spider-Man figure, should come with at least one option to have this hand. And finally, one I'm very happy with, wall crawling hands, which are always good in combat, like he's sort of splayed out, Chris Pratt fending off Raptors style. Screw Chris Pratt. The thumbs seem a little long to me. I think it's the sculpt. Like when your hands are splayed out, your thumb can appear quite extended, but that looks a little too long. But still, good to have wall crawling hands if you want to get him in a wall crawling or like superhero landing position. He also comes with this webbing, which I was like, okay, what is that? Is it like to stand on? No, not sturdy enough, not flat enough on the top. It also has these 2 hooks on the inside, which is really... Camera, just make your mind up. It has these hooks on the inside. So what I think this webbing is for is if you have a villain accessory, and because of the dip here, it's meant to be like you can put that on a villain as though you web them. Now that's a cool display piece, but without any webbing, or an accompanying villain based on the game in the Marvel Select range, because there isn't one, it seems a little stupid. Especially because it's the only webbing accessory. It would have been nice... because if you're going to represent like the web bombs or the web cluster or whatever from the game, it would have been nice to at least have some other webbing, and then that way it's like, oh right, it's just a set of webbing. There's more than enough room in the box. Can we talk about the box? So much plastic wastage. Diamond Select. Pick one. You either have a shitload of tags and ties and plastic buckles, or you have a giant box. Pick one. Because I think Marvel Select now, unless they're the Marvel Selects that are coming with a base, they should be coming with a way smaller box. Or at the very least, stop using plastic ties. Do what Marvel Legends and Hasbro have been doing, where the figures are just clicked into their base. Because it is just wasteful as sin. Spider-Bot! The ones you play as, the ones that you scuttle around New York City as throughout the game in several missions during the story. Not too much detail on the bottom, which is a shame, because if they'd have made that like light blue, you could at least, if you had a little sort of stand or crane, have it floating nearby him, and it'd be one of the floating spider drones that is a suit power. But, you know, cool. Really, really nice paint applications on the Spider-Bot. It looks gorgeous. I'm glad I've got one, because even if you're just a comic book Spider-Man fan, like collecting comic book Spider-Man stuff, you can now have a Spider-Bot. He has had variations of these things over the years. Or, if you're a cosplayer, you just got yourself a nice, cheap and easy Spider Tracer accessory. So there you go. Let's talk about the main man himself. That's right, Lobo. No, Spider-Man. He stands about 7 inches tall, so a little taller than your average Marvel Legends figure, which is why you won't be really pairing him up with anybody, because it's inaccurate. Let's look at that mask. That mask is pretty damn accurate. Could have a tiny bit more nose profile, just like a fraction more nose. But considering we know the amount of tech in this Peter's mask, it could be that the top half of his head is just a tiny bit more padded out by the stuff powering the lenses. His paint scheme, like I said before, we opened him, is lovely. Like the light colours definitely fit the game's design a lot more than other figures seem to be doing. There is one weird little touch. The webbing on his arms is framed by this brown line. There ain't no brown in this costume. Maybe they chose that so it wasn't, the too bold a black line that other figures have gone for, but it's just a little weird up close. The white spider is looking gorgeous on the back. I'm not quite sure what's happened to the legs. Are they tucked under there? Oh no! I've only just realised. The legs aren't painted on the lower back. I guess they're hoping no one will see the lower back of the figure, but that's a bit shitty. Diamond Select, that's cut in a corner. Especially considering you have painted the thin white lines on the front, or at least one of them. Oh, that's very bad. The spider is also where the paint apps fail a little bit. It's not too obvious, but there's some scuffs there on the spider's lower abdomen. The eyes and lenses look pretty good. Not too much bleed there. The white definitions on the suit aren't too bleedy either, so that's nice. And the boots have the tread decal on the bottom, which is a nice little feature. Let's check articulation. So, your usual swivel nonsense and pivot, which the camera's not interested in apparently. Double joint at the knees, nothing in the calf. There's a swivel in the top of the thigh, and the legs are pretty flexible for a Marvel Select figure, to be fair. The waist does not turn very much, but it has a slight crunch, as does the ribs, only slight. Shoulders come out to a fair angle, which is good and useful for Spidey for poses. Swivel at the top of the bicep. There is a double joint in the elbows. Be very careful. I'm hunting Wabbits. The paint on Marvel Select figures crumbles away sometimes, and this one is no exception. Earlier this year, I bought two Marvel Select figures, which were the Endgame Thanos and the Endgame Hulk, and they both had the exact same issue. The wrists are very gentle. As in, like, this could come off at any second. In fact, the plug is not particularly impressive at all, so yeah, it barely pops in. Maybe don't change the hands too much. Will he make for a dynamic pose? I guess we'll find out. Can we get away with like a load screen style, he's falling, shooting his web, but also checking his phone? I don't know. The flexibility's not too bad. Like, for a Marvel Select figure especially, to have his legs extending this much is impressive, because Marvel Select figures don't tend to have that much range of movement compared to their Marvel Legends brothers and sisters. So, overall, I'm happy with him. He's only going to be a display piece on our gaming shelf. I'm not going to be doing like a load of photography with him or anything. I think he's pretty cool. If anyone knows of the more expensive, like if there's a Mafex or SH Figuarts version that you think is superior, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you are like, I like you talking about toys, it fascinates me, I'd like to buy you a toy for you to talk about it and get a shout out in the process, then head to the links in my description. There's my Amazon wish list. I put toys on there I'd like all the time. If you're thinking, oh, he just wants us to buy him toys. No, it's only if you want to, and I'm very grateful if you do. If you don't, I review toys I buy myself, like this boy. So, head to the description if you're curious about that. Failing that, thank you for watching. I hope to see you again very soon, but, the way the economy's going, not unless toys are gifted, really, at this point. Fingers crossed, though. Love you all to pieces. Stay safe. Goodbye for now.